made one earlier, but I'm gonna make this my real one. Anyways, the thing is, I'm starting a daily vlog. I know it's super noisy here. I might even get off this spot right here. See how much we could do. Now the thing is that I'm gonna do this daily, so I do have some stuff planned like about a month from now that I'm still setting up right now. I could talk about that. I might mention it, but really, I could do that in later episodes. So I know that the first episode is probably the one that's going to get the most views. So some of the most important stuff that I really want to get out the way, I want to make sure it kind of like goes down in this particular episode. So I'm the first Republican to run for this district office for over a decade. And the thing is that this seat has been largely abandoned. In fact, I have an interview with Dan Kreisman, and he says in that interview that a friend of his with some money tried to actually run in this district, and he was told by Joanne Ariola, the current city council leader for the Republicans, not to do it. So she was urged to run in Woodside instead, and maybe the numbers there are better, possible, okay? So this district has been largely abandoned to the DSA. And the thing is that this particular district, it's actually my first newsletter, so I'm not going to get too much deep into it. You guys should just go to my newsletter that's on Substack, and you guys can read about that, the numbers. But it makes sense. I'm not going to second guess them. I've done the numbers myself, and it's not really reasonable to think that you could win this race. So I am running for other reasons. We're going to get into that. In fact, that's a great segue. Let's just get off this topic and move towards the main topic and get this video over with. So the first thing I want to talk about is running in this particular district. I also have New York City's only third-party independent candidates. And to tell you the truth, the third-party independent space is being co-opted right now by people that are involved with Jeff Epstein type activities. So I'm talking about, Nick Brana, and even the recent guy named Adam. He actually runs the original Tea Party. They're getting all the top level consultants, or the paid consultants who look professional. They're getting them together at this thing called United Independents, and they have cooperation from the Green Party, from the people inside the Libertarian Party. They're paying Larry Sharpe, who's running in this district for governor, right? He's running for statewide office, so not particularly in this district. He hasn't reached out to me, and I understand. I am concerned about the way that he's going to get consultant fees from Andrew Yang, Forward Party, from once again this group called United Independents. Some Jeff Epstein stuff is going on over there. Larry Sharpe has cool ideas. He's a nice, friendly guy. Is he really going to, fight for, the integrity that I think that people are looking for? I mean, the case is clear right now, right? Who is he calling out besides Hochul? Right, within his own libertarians, they had this huge mess going on with the Mises Caucus, stuff like that. The leadership has changed internally. Haven't really heard too much from him on that particular issue. So when he's involved in his relationships, things that could affect him, he's not going to say nothing. So one person that's kind of, in terms of this race out here in Astoria, we could look at who would really define the Republican Party right now as President Trump, who's president right now, and also this guy named Massey, and this kind of like America First movement is kind of going on. I've reached out to Massey multiple times, and this is all documented. As far as I know, I'm the only candidate who actually made calls for Massey and encouraged others to do so. I have call record and logs of myself in discussions with people from his campaign. I have call logs of myself calling his office, and I may have actually recorded, I'm not sure, but I probably should at some point. It's a little weird to do it, right? But I should just document myself emailing Thomas Massie as well through his form on his page. I've done this for about a month or two now, right, off and on. The thing is that sometimes people be like, oh, they're busy, blah, 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 but remember, these people are professionals. It's hilarious how many times people think that the people who are professionals in the game, who are able to get paid for it when other people are not, or who have a high level of expertise, don't know what's going on. So, he was at the time running a campaign, so it's also true they might be busy, so I can also get that too. That's why I contacted over a month through different routes, right, to try to make sure that this would go through. So at some point over this month, right, one of those messages had gotten through, because I did, also by making calls for the campaign, I talked to people that were in his campaign, faced, over the phone, right, directly. So it's definitely happened, right? So I've called the office and gotten someone to pick up and told them that I was running in New York City, the largest market in the nation with 8.5 million people in the city, that I am a strong America firster, and that I am trying to really be a strong note for them here out in New York City. But I understand that there's a couple of issues going on. First of all, they might be worried about losing control, right? They don't really know my work. And also the people at, once again, the United Independents, or this other thing that Massie worked with, this thing called Free and Equal Debate Series. I have New York City's only third-party independent candidate debates. And honestly, that establishment for a long time has been inserting AstroTurf activists who are very similar to me in the same fields that I'm in order to try to get rid of me from those spaces, or to make sure that I can't operate without some type of competition. So, after doing some third-party work, something called Unified Platform USA, where I got together candidates from all across the nation to agree on things, all the known candidates, which the mainstream media likes to acknowledge, actually, they went through this thing called Free and Equal Debate Series. So, yeah. Anyways, so Massie actually was a member of that, but the people in that area, one of the, you could look at the, I should actually, hopefully someone could do it now, record what's going on, the, where was it, Free and Equal Debate Series. The thing is that the candidates that you know about, like I'm talking about, like Jill Stein, Cornel West was also rumored to be there, RFK was supposed to be there, all the big names showing up, and they're all connected through a group called Accelerate 2020. You could look up on Open Secrets. I also have that in my newsletter, on my Substack, so you guys could definitely look at that. I'll try to put that in the comments below for that newsletter, where I actually make this tie to another guy named Barack Pierce, who also has direct connection to Epstein. After I busted Nick Brana for sexually abusing people and stealing huge amounts of money, which Zainab Day, if you look at Grand Platinum, it's a very similar situation where there was deeper problems with the consultants or the people behind, or the money, but all of a sudden a woman came out and made it a sexual thing, and all of a sudden all the rest of the discussion was quiet and silenced. And the reason why we're getting rid of this guy is because of the sexual issue, but where's all the money? Where's who got paid? Who made the decisions? No one's being held accountable. The story is that Graham Plattner sexually abused a woman, and that's the story. Don't ask no more questions. That's where this ends. So I went deeper on that, and that's why myself and actually a lot of other people that I work with have been canceled. I'm just one of them, but I just fight a little bit harder. So now I'm running for office just to show how blatantly dumb this stuff is. Not only that, but recently there's a guy named Kangman Lee. He's actually blowing up right now. I'm the first guy to actually, if he leaves his live streams up, I made the first money donation because I saw where this was going. Notice that he's getting a lot of money a lot of views right now for saying that, for talking about a race swap that happened for Helen of Troy or something like that. But as in terms of a conservative Korean American activist, right? He's what they want you to understand a Korean American conservative activist to be, right? Not someone like myself, who's endorsed by the longest volunteer man in New York State history, and has all this like long body of work and actors and all this other thing, right? They don't talk about another guy who I've interviewed, the first union president of the only unionized Chinese restaurant in New York City history. Like a bread crust. I don't know. I got a prompt to something about like a bread crust. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so it's very strange. Anyways, I just wanted to put that out there. So I've contacted, also tried to get Margaret Taylor Greene a couple times, because the America First movement, when it's kind of like a breakaway movement, is something that, and once again, just to make it clear for all the people that's watching, I still support our elected President Trump. Just so you know, I also, I know this is also something controversial, maybe lose me some Republican votes. It is what it is. You should know the truth, but I'll also tell you how I'm making decisions in a hot second after this. There's been some rumors about Mossad saying that they're gonna, shoot or kill, Zohran Mamdani, our elected mayor for New York City, if he should arrest Netanyahu. This is right. Foreign countries cannot be killing our elected leaders. That's ridiculous. So, in my point of view. Okay, so I still support our elected President Donald Trump. It is what it is. And but once again, I do really appreciate the movement that MTG and Thomas Massie started to hold Epstein types accountable. I'm fighting my own Epstein stuff going on. Notice that the victims aren't covered by all of these news agencies that are like, oh, David Smith, oh, Candace Owens, oh, right, Anna Kasparian, right, yeah? Where's the victims at, right? Y'all still just talking about each other to each other. Y'all are here to make sure the victims like myself cannot be heard. This is clear at this point. Clear, okay? I got on the ballot as a Republican. Y'all still can't come. In fact, y'all making a new Korean American to dominate the news cycle. Color the waters before anybody finds that out. Go ahead. This is expected. I'm going door to door in the community. They get to know the voters themselves. They don't watch TV all the time. A lot of them are working jobs, making you rich, making you money. So, the whole Twitter sphere and that whole little circle thing you got going on, that little echo chamber you got going on, you can believe what you want to believe. I'm out here in the community doing what I do. What it is. So let's just talk about real quick about how I'm going to actually make my decisions if I get elected, which is this, okay? Really, it's not up to me. My district has about 65 election districts inside of it. And each election district, there's going to be someone who's going to be in charge of that election district. One person might have control or influence in multiple election districts, right? But ideally, I would like actually two people for each election district, one man, one woman, each election district, in the 65 election districts that I run. And maybe you're outside the district and you have something very important, something that is, of national significance or historically relevant, right? Really, the way I'm going to try to make every single decision is by consulting with the team, and that's all the election district people, and whatever they decide as a unit, that's how I'm going to go. Maybe once in a great while, maybe 2 or 3 times in my whole entire term, I might act. Hopefully that's a goal, right? Maybe more, but try to keep it about there. I might break ranks. I really don't see myself breaking ranks, to tell you the truth. The other issues haven't really earned it, right? The thing is that other people have to come in and earn that space. Now, a lot of times the consultants and the professional, the lobbyists and stuff like that, they'll say, instead of gaining control or having someone for each election district, what we want to do is, we're going to flood you with cash. You can spend the money how you want, and as long as most people aren't aware or voting or caring or really involved, then we can just basically do whatever we want. That's the safest way, that's the best way for us, actually. We don't want a grassroots movement. We don't want this kind of ground-up operation going on. If you're not in my district helping me or really like flipping votes in my district, right, then the fact of the matter is that I'll be replaced by someone else. And honestly, within that district, you could see the way that it's set up, right? is that if someone becomes influential within that 65 group, if we start to get to know each other, then they could easily and actually maybe even should replace me, and that's fine, right? That's the way the job is supposed to be, right? Yeah. I want to see that level of, so that's how I'm organizing, all right? And this is why DSA is kicking the Republicans' ass. Unfortunately, they're not really. Here's the unfortunate truth I got to tell you guys, all right? You can see right now that the leadership inside of DSA, there's a lot of people who mean well at DSA, but at the leadership, there's a lot of conniving careerists that have a plan to get it, not really change the power structure, but to replace the power structure and put themselves in it. And they don't care. Like Julia Salazar is a great example, right? She used to be Republican, by the way, and she actually tried to pass legislation to privatize the housing. She took a free trip to on taxpayer money, free for her, to where is it? Vienna, to study public housing. It's dark, but you get the government you deserve, right? Yeah. So right now, what I'm going to be doing during this 3-month period, you're going to see me start hanging out flyers in the neighborhood, start trying to get people to come to this Long Island City GOP meeting. That's going to be every first Tuesday at One Court Square, and that's going to be that's really the plan right here, to really build that up. That's the whole purpose of this campaign, and the main thing I'm going to do if I get elected, I'm going to keep that thing going, right? This grassroots movement. Other than that, right, all these other issues, blah, 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 do this, blah, 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 do that, yeah? In the community, you got to actually show me that you're ready to do the work. Otherwise, blah, 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 yeah, shut up. No one cares. And I work with the Long-Tall Christmas in state history. I got little old ladies getting beat up with baseball bats, and I could see what's happening with them because nobody cares. I'm not saying nobody cares like I don't care, because I do care. But I'm swear to you, right, yeah, this whole, even the people that I know personally, like I had this group that I used to hang out with called Yellow Brick Road Discord, and I appreciate them. I think they're cool in a way. They're regular people. They don't want to really get involved with all the, you know, stuff that I'm doing with day to day, which is fine. Everybody has their own problems. Once again, I'm working with the Long-Tall Christmas State history. I have New York City's only third-party independent candidate debates, right? But I can't pay Sabby Sabs or Brianna Joy Gray or who else? Justin Hinkle. And actually what happened was these people were basically bought off by a guy named Nick Brano. Yeah. Zainab Day, Vanguard podcast. They're all deliberately breaking points. They're all deliberately suppressing not just my own fight, but all the grassroots fight. They're supposed to be the ones that, there's a small circle of people that they interact with. Sometimes that'll change, sometimes people will come, they'll go, but it will never really be a true grassroots operation. They are specifically there to make sure the grassroots cannot go anywhere. That's really all I have to say for this episode. I'll be doing another one tomorrow. Thanks for checking it out, and licgop.com. You can check out the website. It's going to be a daily thing, folks, until the election. Peace.